You know, in today's world, your website, it's not just a digital brochure, right? It's everything. It's your brand's handshake, its first impression, its round-the-clock ambassador. So, the big question is, how do you make that first impression not just good, but absolutely unforgettable? Well, let's dive in.
Ready for this? 0.05 seconds. That's it. It's literally faster than the blink of an eye. And in that tiny, tiny sliver of time, someone visiting your site has already made up their mind about you. They've judged your credibility, your professionalism, the whole shebang. The stakes? Yeah, they are incredibly high.
So, the question is, what's your website saying in that fraction of a second? How do you make sure it's making the right judgment? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We'll start with the timeless foundations, then jump into the bold trends of today, and finally, we'll look at the incredible tech that's shaping the future.
All right, before we get to all the cool, flashy stuff, we got to talk about the foundation, the absolute bedrock of great web design. These are the rules that just don't change. You know, you get these right, and honestly, you're already most of the way to a winning website. Okay, pillar number one is performance. And let's be clear, speed isn't a nice to have anymore. It's everything. Think about it. We all want things now. So if your site takes more than 3 seconds to load, you're losing people. For every single second of delay, you could be losing 7% of your conversions. That's real money. That's why optimizing every little thing for a lightning-fast experience is just non-negotiable. And once your site is blazing fast, you got to think about how people are actually using it. This is where user experience, or UX, comes in. And here's the kicker, something like 70, maybe even 80% of all web traffic is on a phone now. The whole game has changed. We're not designing for a mouse and a big screen anymore. We're designing for the thumb. That means everything from button placement to how you scroll has to be mobile first, not a we'll get to it later kind of thing.
Our third and final pillar is storytelling. You know, it's not just about listing facts and figures on a page, it's about the narrative. Check out this quote. Stories are remembered 22 times more than facts alone. 22 times. That's because our brains are just hardwired for stories. So a truly great design doesn't just show you stuff, it takes you on a journey. It weaves your brand's story into every single interaction.
Okay, so with our solid foundation built, now we can have some fun. Let's start building on top of it and look at the trends that are really defining the look and feel of websites today.
One of the biggest shifts we're seeing is from just passively looking at a page to being part of an active, immersive experience. You've got things like scrollytelling, where the story literally unfolds as you scroll. So cool. Then there's parallax scrolling, which creates this amazing sense of 3D depth. All these things, plus interactive 3D graphics, turn a website into something almost cinematic. It just pulls you in.
When it comes to the actual look, there are two huge trends right now that are basically polar opposites. On one hand, you have minimalism. You know, super clean, lots of white space, laser-focused on the important stuff. But on the other hand, you have this wild style called brutalism. It's raw, it's bold, sometimes it's even a little bit ugly on purpose, and it is absolutely designed to scream for your attention. Totally different vibes for totally different brands.
You know, sometimes it's the little things that have the biggest impact. I'm talking about micro-interactions. That's just a fancy word for those tiny little animations you see, like when a button wiggles when you hover over it, or a check mark appears when you submit a form. They're not just for show. They give you feedback, they add polish, and they make the whole site just feel alive. It's a sign that someone really cared about the details.
All right, so we've got the foundations down, we've talked about the current look and feel. Now let's peek into the future, because the tech running under the hood is completely changing the game.
And the single biggest driver of all this change, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. AI is no longer some sci-fi concept. It's a real, essential tool for web developers. We're seeing things like generative AI and natural language processing having this massive impact, doing everything from creating design mockups automatically to even writing the code for the website. Just think back for a second. Websites used to be completely static, right? Everybody who visited saw the exact same page, the same text, the same images. It was a total one-size-fits-all world. Simple, sure, but not very smart.
But with AI, that all changes. We can finally leave one-size-fits-all in the dust and move to what's called hyper-personalization. This is amazing. It means the website can actually change itself based on who you are. It can show you different content, different products. It can even change the navigation, all based on your past behavior. The website literally adapts to you.
So how is all this flexibility possible? Well, a lot of it is thanks to something called a headless CMS. Okay, think of it like this. A traditional website is like a model home.
Everything's glued together, you can't move the walls. A headless system is more like having a giant warehouse full of Legos. The content, the Legos, is separate from the instructions. You can use those same Legos to build a house, a car, a spaceship, whatever you want. The head, the visual part, is totally separate.
And why is that so powerful? Well, it makes things incredibly simple and flexible. You create your content just one time in one place. Then you use something called an API, think of it like a delivery service for data, to send that content literally anywhere. To your website, sure, but also to a mobile app, a smartwatch, maybe even a screen in a store. It means your content isn't trapped in one place. It's total freedom.
Okay, so we've covered the timeless principles, the cool modern trends, and the super smart tech of the future. But what's the point of all of it? Where is this all heading?
I think this quote really nails it. The very best websites in 2025 and beyond, they aren't just pretty faces. They're not just a showcase of cool tech. They use all of these tools, the speed, the design, the AI, for one reason: to build a real human connection. It's about actually serving a purpose for the person on the other side of that screen.
So I'll leave you with one last question to think about. When you look at your own website, is it just built to sell? Is it just a machine for transactions? Or is it built to connect? Is it designed to tell a story and build a real relationship? Because here's the thing, in the world we live in now, it's the connection that ultimately drives the sale.